Welcome everybody, my name's Richard and this is the beautiful Christchurch Harbour, Muddyford Quay. This is just down the road from our warehouse in New Milton. And what I want to do today is a video about the ID Buzz. We've got one in stock at the moment and so let's do a bit of a review on it. However, there's quite a lot of videos out there just reviewing the ID Buzz. So I was kind of thinking what we could do to put a slightly different spin on things really. So what I've done here is grab another car worth about £70,000, Porsche Taycan with roof bars. And I'm going to argue the case, which is more practical? For £70,000, which of these two cars would you choose? In some ways, you see, I think a Taycan with a roof bar could be more practical. And I'll show you why in a minute. You must be thinking, what on earth are you talking about? But let me show you a couple of things in a minute. The ID Buzz is great. Obviously, you probably know you already like these, you want one of these, but £70,000, it does give you a bit of choice of different cars out there as well. We do love this van. It's fantastic. It is very practical. We'll give you a tour around it. We'll show you some more of the van in more detail, and then we'll have a bit of fun comparing some kind of top trumps with a Porsche Taycan. So this is RSEV. This is us. Just another day in the office. Before we get into some fun and games comparing some stuff, let's just show you a little bit about the ID Buzz. So this is an ID Buzz first edition. It's a short wheelbase 5-seater. There is a long wheelbase 7-seater coming at some point. We're just starting to see some press releases of that now. But this is in the striking candy white and I think they call it lime yellow with 20-inch wheels. Yes, 20-inch wheels. Sorry, 21-inch wheels, can you believe it? So huge wheels, hand-cooked tyres on this. It's got the matrix headlights, and I know these are excellent headlights. Very, very good. In fact, they will compete with the Porsche Taycan matrix LED headlights there. My wife has the VW ID3 with the matrix, and they're very, very good. So both score equally on headlights. But anyway, more onto the comparison later. Let's show you a little bit more on the inside of this van. They've got a classic VW shape, but let's have a look at the back here. No powered sliding doors on this one. And then we've got 5 seats which have been left forward, so let me just move these back a bit. So you can move the seats backwards, and that of course gives you plenty of room to jump in. Don't want to put footprint in here. Loads of space, loads of headroom, loads of knee, just as you expect. And there's also tray tables there, so practical. Gins, how'd you get that? There we go, yeah. I'm going to put your can of drink in here, soft drink in here, and then you fold that away. It is, of course, practical and comfortable and wide for 5 people. The front's very nice as well. Let's show you that before we look at the boot. And the lime yellow theme continues inside. So this one's got some yellow seats and door trims here. It might not be to everyone's taste, but I actually really like it. It's a bit fun, it's a bit funky, and especially in a setting like this, it just is good fun, isn't it? It feels like this is where this vehicle is meant to be, by the beach. Of course it does. We've all got those images of classic VW vans. But anyway, in here, this one's got the white steering wheel, so you've got to keep this nice and clean, but easy to do so with some wet wipes. Loads of headroom, loads of leg room, as you expect. It is a massage seat on this one as well. So I've got 2 memory settings and a massage option, but it kind of pushes the lumbar support in and out here. You've got plenty of room to adjust the seat on the electric adjustments here. I was looking for the manual release. So the comfortable driving position with obviously this very distinctive view. So you do feel like you're sitting in a van, you're nice and high up, you've got this huge dashboard and then that short bonnet in front. But because you've got these extra windows here, you've got pretty good visibility around you. So you might be in a van, but it doesn't feel too kind of big and unwieldy. And it's just very nice and funky in here. I do really like it. You've got different materials, different textures, some easy to use air vents, some steering wheel controls, and then a larger screen compared to something like the ID3, for example. So the VW software might not be quite kind of Tesla territory, but we've got a VW ID3 at home and it's been fine. We've not had problems. I know there are all these stories of the early cars having software glitches and crashes, but to be fair, our one's always been fine actually. So I think the earlier ones maybe had that. This doesn't. But yeah, as you expect, loads of practical storage, some more cup holders there, big door bins, extra trays here. Yeah, it's nice. It's very nice indeed. It feels premium. Does it feel 70,000 premium? Does it feel as premium as a Mercedes EQV? Not really, but it's definitely more funky. Put it like that. It's more funky, it's more modern. You've got space in the middle to move between here as well. You've got armrests. You could be in here for hours. It's lovely. Yeah, I like it. Charge ports on the off side here. And you've got, of course, Type 2 and CCS for rapid charging. Now, this has a 77 kilowatt hours of usable battery from a just over 80 kilowatt hours gross pack. And it's good for, well, the previous owner of this told me a good 240 miles, certainly over 200 miles of range. Now, I did run a Mercedes EQV for a little while, and the Mercedes EQV has a bigger battery than this, but it seems to be less efficient. It'd be good to run a side-by-side efficiency comparison if we ever get the opportunity. So I think they've got pretty similar range. The EQV, I could actually quite easily do over 200 miles, a little bit less in winter. You've got to bear in mind in winter you've got a big cabin to heat up. So winter will affect these kind of van vehicles more than the cars. Big cabin space to warm, but you can actually quite comfortably do well over 200 miles, rapid charging, take a break on your journey down to Cornwall, have a bit of lunch, and it will be charged up again. You know, 45 minutes will see you definitely right brimmed up again. So, well, nearly brimmed up, probably 90%, something like that. Your lunch break will charge it for another 3 hours driving. It won't be a problem. Rear wiper, yes. Heated rear screen, yes. Parking sensors, yes. Reversing camera, yes. Power tailgate? No, it doesn't have a power tailgate on this one. But it's well sprung, it's easy to open. And then of course you have this very vast space in the back. I mean, it's one of those things where you think for 5 people, how much luggage could you have? But just a big practical space. And if you're somewhere like this with a view like that, you could easily sit here and have a nice cup of tea. Nice cup of tea. Definitely not a beer, just a cup of tea. Yeah, it's nice. So yeah, as you can expect, loads of space. Again, those seats do move forwards and back a little bit. And then you do have these funny little things here that pop out. And what these are for is just to hold little things in place in the luggage compartment so they don't slide around. It's not a problem, Gins. Gins was fighting with this for ages earlier. He was like... You can see these are all fairly hard plastics, but it's going to be durable, practical. You know, you can load stuff up in here to a high depth without blocking your rear visibility. You do have these kind of natty little hooks, actually. I quite like these. If you've got like a takeaway bag of food, you can hook it on there, a bit of shopping without it rolling around all over the boot. And there is a 12-volt socket there as well for a little fridge or something. Some tie-down hooks. You've got a parcel shelf here, which, I don't know, you might as well just take it out, I think, to be honest, and some cup holders down the side. You can see if you had a longer wheelbase and the 7 seats, there's going to be plenty of space there for that. There's a little thing here actually which you can remove if you need it. This. Okay. There you go. It comes with a spare bit of foam. Is there any storage underneath the boot floor for charge cables? No. So your charge cables do kind of end up sitting around. Maybe you can use this little hook here to keep them out of the way. Tie them on there, something like that. There we are, that's the boot. Anything under the hood? Nope, no storage, no front space, no additional storage in here, so you probably never need to open that bit. So this is my Porsche Taycan 4S. Privileged enough to be able to have this car. I do have a bit of a thing for Taycan, but I have to make this work for me practically as a family car, and I think it does. And I think in some ways we could compete with this. So let's show you a few things, starting with things like kayaks. So this is not the Porsche roof rack system. This is a system from Thule. I think it was 220, 230 plus the VAT. And it's got actually nice wide bars. They come over the mount points here. The Taycan does have proper roof rack mounting points. So you put some bolts down and then this all clamps to that. So they're nice and strong and sturdy. They're not clamping around the bodywork. Bit of a fiddle to fit the first time. But anyway, I won't do a review about Thule roof rack. It has roof bars and they're nice and wide. You can actually get 2 of these kayaks next to each other on top of here. What I wanted to show you here is that I can actually have the boot open fully and the front open fully and still have the kayak on the roof. So, tick. Another thing I'll add, let's say you've got a boat and you need to get petrol for it, or lawnmowers or something like that. You don't want a petrol can ever inside your cabin of the car. It always stinks. The Taycan can fit a really nice big fuel container like this in the front here, as well as the charging cables that I've got there. And therefore, you can never smell the fumes from a petrol can. And that's brilliantly practical. If you carry fuel cans around, you probably don't, but that's really handy. But we've always found it fine for practicality, and the seats do fold, so you can get things like paddles in there if you need to. And there is a little bit of storage underneath here, and in there I tend to keep things like bags, laptops, spare shoes, tie down straps, all that kind of stuff under there. And you can see at the boot is a reasonable length. I can actually pull out this 2-seat sofa, that's fine. I've got coats, I've got kayaks, seats. And the seats actually split 3 ways on this one. This is a 5-seat version, some are only 4-seat. This is a 5-seat, and I've got 3-way splitting seats in the back of this. And I still have a 12-volt socket in the back here for a little fridge or something if I ever needed it. It's fine. One good thing about the Taycan is because it's low down, you can actually reach your roof bars and your straps very easily. If you have taller cars, and particularly back in the days when I used to have a Land Rover Discovery, getting the roof rack on that, you're always having to stand on the back wheels and stuff like that. And the good thing about a Taycan is you don't need to. In fact, this is in its high mode. I can make this lower and even easier reach. It's open, is it? So I'll just put this kayak in there, yeah? Because you don't have a roof rack. Now you can get roof bars for the ID bars, but have you got adjustable air suspension so you can just... No? Okay, all right. This should just fly in, right? It's a van, yeah? Yep. Okay. Now I've used vans before. That's as far as it fits in. All right, you want me to fold the seats? Right, okay. Let's do that then. So with the seats down, it'll fly in, yeah? Into the screen. Okay, right, through the middle seats, front seats as well. Okay, cool. So on its side, yeah? So now I'm going to move the parcel shelf. All right, let's take this out. Sorry, you stand there. That's fine, I'll do this. Now, this is quite a new van. I don't want to mark it, so we'll be careful. That's as far as it can go. It's going to be a flattering shot, isn't it? So I think if you could build a platform coming off the back of this, maybe with a little big pull-out kitchen drawers, barbecue stuff that goes right out the back. Anyway, you can design it. If you had a platform and you could lay out like this, there's room. There's room. I could happily lay in this in the sunshine here. Very reasonable. Very reasonable. I can't do this in the Taycan. I'll give you that one. Let's just cut this little bit in here that we forgot when we were out earlier. You can get a tow bar for one of these. In fact, I think it's electrically deployable even. But unlike an EQV, you don't have the option to kind of take seats out. And you know, in EQV, you've got like 2 captain seats in the middle row or 3 in the back, or you can put the 3 in the front and 2 at the back. You don't have that kind of flexibility. You can't sort of remove these seats and just leave one in the back and have a real kind of van space. But what I would say about the EQV is those seats, in theory, you can take them out. It sounds like a really practical idea. They're so heavy. They're so hard to get in and out of that van. It's not something you can do very often anyway. So if you really need to move seats around, the EQV might be your choice, but otherwise, this is just fine. There we have it. Look, you can see I can clearly win the practical argument by having a Taycan. I can justify it, right? Look, it's just a bit of fun, this video. We do love the ID bars. It just has such a charm and character about it. It is a very practical family transport where you could easily now have a picnic table here. I'm sat here looking at the sea over there. It's great, you know, imagine a cool box here, some cool drinks in it, get some barbecue stuff out, a couple of lounge chairs. It just has that fun about it, doesn't it? It's practical, but it's also just really comfortable to drive as a daily car. You know, you can take this to work, you can use it for family stuff at the weekends. You might not be able to do a track day like you can with a Taycan, but, well, you could. Rear-wheel drive, actually, it's pretty fun, isn't it? Yeah, that'd be good, actually. Anyway, the ID bars, we do love it. What a character. Doesn't come cheap, but it's a brilliant van. So thank you for watching. Just a bit of fun. See you in some more very serious videos coming soon. Stay subscribed.